We have one last category of types of retailers to talk about, and that is service retailing. Service retailers are firms that sell services rather than merchandise. So there's a list here on the screen, and then this same list can be found in your book. But these are dry cleaning retailers, car wash retailers, oil change venues, hair salons, etc. There's a growing trend in service retailing and a need for service retailing. And there are two main reasons for those trends. The first is that there are the baby boomer generation, older individuals who are paying for healthcare services now. So they need more services than they did, and that's a very large group of people. The second reason for the growth in service retailing is that we now have two-income families. And so two-income families have to pay for services such as childcare, home cleaning, and lawn maintenance. So service retailing is a growing sector of the retail industry. There are four main differences between service retailers and merchandise retailers that you need to understand. The first difference is intangibility. Customers cannot see, touch, or feel services. And so there's difficulty evaluating the quality of the service that the customer is receiving. So service retailers have to place an emphasis on customer evaluations that they can post and share so that new customers or potential customers can see what other customers are saying about the service they received. A second difference is simultaneous production and consumption. With most services, the service retailer is going to deliver the service as the consumer is receiving it. You don't buy a haircut today and then use it tomorrow. You're getting that haircut at the time you pay for it, right? When you buy an education at Georgia College, you're paying for the tuition in the semester in which you're taking classes. So the quality can really vary in service industries. And so the service provider, the service retailer, has one chance to get it right because there's no chance to return a bad service. You can't return a bad haircut, right? You're stuck with it until your hair grows out. There's also no opportunity to reduce your costs through mass production. If you think about pencils, you can manufacture 1 million pencils at once, but you can only cut one person's hair at one time. Right? So simultaneous production and consumption becomes a big difference that service retailers have to manage. The third difference is perishability. Services cannot be saved, stored, or resold. Service retailing has to match supply and demand so that service retailers do not lose revenue. Think about a hotel. If a room is not sold on a Monday night, you can't resell that room later in the week. You just lose the $100 that you could have had if a consumer stayed there. So service retailers have to be very flexible to try to avoid perishability. So think about what a hotel might do in order to fill the rooms on a weeknight. Or think about what a tax providing service might do in order to make sure that they are not losing revenue. One thing you can discuss in the discussion board is other types of service retailers that suffer because of perishability. And I also encourage you to talk about what they can do to try to minimize the problem. The last difference between service retailers and merchandise retailers is inconsistency. Products that are produced on machines have very tight quality control measures, so they're all the same. Services performed by people, and so what that means is that no two experiences are the same because people have different levels of knowledge and attitudes, and they go about executing services in different ways. Consider a restaurant, for example. Restaurants hire multiple servers. And so if you go to the same restaurant on 2 different nights, you might have 2 different servers and receive 2 very different service experiences. So I want you to think about and talk about in the discussion boards what problems the inconsistency can cause for a service retailer and ways that retailers try to overcome this inconsistency. So these 4 differences are challenges that service retailers face that merchandise retailers do not. So the main takeaway here is understanding how service retailers overcome those differences so that they do not lose revenue.